Welcome to the Daybreak with Jeff Slakey podcast. I'm so happy you found us. Please subscribe, rate, review, and share this with your circle of influence. It's a collection of the interviews, news, and conversation during Daybreak with Jeff Slakey on I-Fiber One News Radio, KMAS, weekdays from 6 to 9. It's Thursday morning, and good morning to you. Hope you're having a great start to the day as we welcome in Spencer Hughes. Good morning, Spence.
Hey, good morning. What's going on today?
Well, we got some great guests throughout. City Engineer Ken Gill is here. We're going to be talking through the Focus on Shelton, presented by our Community Credit Union, about public works and what's been going on in the last couple of months. Also, Gerry Apple on the line via Zoom video conference for a conversation about this upcoming weekend's Relay for Life. So some good conversations there. Also, more news and information to start your day. What's going on? I see more rain in the forecast.
Yeah, we're going to have showers, and you may be hearing some thunder, too, this morning, and then mostly overcast with some occasional rain for the rest of the day. And the rain now they're saying is going to last through Saturday, so that's a good amount of rain. And then we'll be rewarded with temperatures, believe it or not, in the mid to upper 70s and sunshine all next week.
That's amazing how that all works. In the news, at the Shelton School Board meeting last night, they met for their regularly scheduled meeting. Dr. Apostle made this announcement.
I would like to announce that I will be retiring at the end of the 2020-21 academic year, which is June 30th, 2021. This is a decision I made almost 2 years ago and informed the school board of my decision at that time. We as a staff, community, and school board have accomplished many great achievements for the Shelton School District and community in the past 5.5 years. We have developed and implemented academies, continued to expand academic programs and student options, reconfigured our schools, reviewed goals and objectives of our entire K-12 instructional program, passed a major bond issue, passed every levy the past 5 years, reconstructed our athletic facilities, built a new elementary school, and improved and remodeled the rest of our schools. And there are many other things, but what I would like to cite is that we made it a priority to take a strong stance on staff performance in respect to standards and expectation in relation to all positions to make all these great things happen.
And we'll have him on the air tomorrow to talk about this further and any other information from the district. And included with that are some of the thoughts on reopening plans. He will be meeting with the superintendents of all the schools in Mason County here soon, I think tomorrow, to formulate a plan to bring the kids back into the classroom.
Mason County Public Health was notified of 3 additional Mason County residents that tested positive for COVID-19. This brings the total to 407 positive cases in Mason County. Mason County staff are performing case investigations and tracing close contacts to reduce the spread of COVID-19 in our community. It's with great sadness we announce 1 additional COVID-19 related death of a Mason County resident.
Lawmakers in the state have received some good financial news, with updated numbers showing an increase in state revenues over the past few months. The latest numbers cut an earlier projection of revenue losses by more than half, though officials warned that there's still a good deal of economic uncertainty due to the pandemic. In June, the Forecast Council showed the state revenues through mid-2023 were projected to be nearly $9 billion lower than previous projections. But on Wednesday, updated numbers increased revenues by $4.6 billion for that time frame.
A logic and accuracy test of our vote tallying system in preparation for the November 3rd general election will be conducted today at 10 this morning in the ballot processing room located at 411 North 5th Street here in Shelton. Testing of the accessibility voting system will also be conducted at this time. These tests are open to candidates, the press, and the public. Additionally, we're producing a series of voting-themed videos with the Elections Office. The first one is about being vote-ready and contains a lot of great information.
And we, in partnership with ABC News Radio, will provide coverage of the debates that are coming up. Tuesday is the first one from Cleveland with President Trump and Vice President Joe Biden. We'll have it for you here on the radio, AM 1030 and FM 103.3, also streamed on our website. The start time for the debate is 6, but we begin our coverage at 5 with the great anchors of ABC News talking about the upcoming debate, and then there's a little bit of time afterwards for post-debate analysis. There are commercial opportunities in the pre- and post-debate coverage. If you're a candidate or know one or want to advertise in these, it's must-listen-to radio, of course. You can call Rod or give him an email, rod@ifiber1.com, or if you see him in the streets, you can talk with him about that.
Do you have 6 minutes to spare? As a recreational boater, your feedback matters. The Washington State Parks Boating Program is helping the Washington Department of Ecology distribute a survey to recreational boaters in the state. The survey asks for your opinion on messaging and graphics created for boaters about sewage management rules. This is a follow-up to a survey sent earlier this summer, and you can check out our website at ifiber1newsradio.com for a link to the survey.
And again, today on the show, we'll have the focus on Shelton. We'll also talk with Gerry Apple about Relay for Life. It's a Thursday, another wet one, and more Daybreak is coming up.
From the iFiber One News Radio studios, you're listening to Daybreak.
Well, good morning, everybody. Jeff Slakey and Spencer Hughes on the Daybreak Show. Time for us to focus on Shelton, presented by our Community Credit Union. City Engineer Ken Gill is with me. How you doing, Ken?
Good. Good morning, Jeff.
Nice to talk with you. Been on the job about a year for this city, and things have been, well, I would say normally things have been kind of progressing as normal, but this year has probably put some big monkey wrenches into the works at the city.
It has. We've had to, adjust to look at budgets, things like that. But really the city, and particularly Public Works in particular, keeps moving on. You got to keep on providing water and sewer services and smooth streets.
Yeah.
And this year we've been doing that. We just finished up last week our 2020 residential paving, which was East Mountain View.
Okay.
So for those residents of East Mountain View, they were all, cheers, because a lot of those roads hadn't seen a paving machine in 30 or 40 years.
Yeah.
And that was kind of a compliment to last year's effort in West Mountain View. And one thing why the city is really, really got some great personnel resources in that they have an outstanding public works streets foreman named Todd Rhodes. And he did all the prep work with a big grinder on the front of his loader. He did all the traffic control. And after they pave the road, they come back and touch up the driveways with edge rock. So it's a really big improvement for that area, and really well appreciated by the residents. And that's what gets me so excited.
That's awesome. Over the years, probably maybe before your time here, there'd always been a lot of conversations about the streets and the quality of the streets in the city. And then with the passage of the transportation improvement project, the TIP grants or whatever, when it comes in from the city monies for those types of projects, it seems like the city is really starting to look good when it comes to those things. You guys were thinking about it in different zones around the city. Is that how the progress works? To every year pave a different area?
We use a computer program called Street Saver, but also we use input from our public works guys, as they're the ones who are out there patching potholes too.
Yeah.
But the whole focus of that is to use the transportation benefit district money that you're talking about. So that is that money in action.
That's great.
So you pay your license fees and you see asphalt on the ground in front of your house. That's a big, big deal.
Yeah.
So I couldn't be more pleased with our engineering department. We talked about Todd. Brooke Kiltz is another one of our staff that puts together all the contracts, does all the bidding, really basically make sure that we're all dotting our I's and crossing our T's.
Yeah.
And then Kobe Glasser is did inspection services on that for this year. So taking truck tickets, directing work, writing change orders. So Shelton having that trifecta of those three key staff really makes the project attractive to long-term bidders.
Yeah.
When I mean long-term, long ways away. So, there's not a paving plant in Shelton right here that we can do. So all the asphalt comes from Olympia. And then, of course, the pavers are from out of town. Last year's was from Ellensburg. They came all the way over. And this year was Agate Asphalt up in Belfair. So they're having to travel and by you doing the prep work, doing the traffic control, makes that project attractive to bidders. And last year we got about $95 a ton. This year we got $87 a ton. So in my 20 years of doing that work, we've never gotten a low of a price on asphalt. And it's directly relationship because bidders know that they're going to be able to work with those staff.
Wow. That's great to hear. Yeah, there's a lot of great folks working at Public Works. The other thing too is the days and nights are getting shorter. It's darker earlier and later. So when you see those Public Works crews out on the roads, give them a break and make sure you're giving them plenty of space and make sure your speeds are low as you go through those work zones, because it's very important. Good to know. What's 2021 paving schedule look like?
So we'll be working that out and finalizing that as we want to get an earlier start. Basically want to get that out on the street for bidders earlier rather than later in the wintertime months, so they can get something on the books.
Do you look to try to get a certain amount of miles paved? Is it neighborhoods completed, or what's a good, what at the end of next year when you look back, what would be the goal there?
I try to get the most people served, the greatest benefit.
Okay.
One thing that former director Craig Gregory left with me is he always asked the question, "What's best for Shelton?" And that kind of thought always kind of sticks in my mind. And we've got a relatively small pot of money, around $200,000 a year, and how can we stretch it the farthest? And also, how can we make it so that we don't ever come back in another 30 years?
Yeah.
So I want to give a really good quality product that lasts for a long time and that the residents are happy with.
City Engineer Ken Gill here for the Focus on Shelton, presented by our Community Credit Union. Thanks for coming in.
Okay, thanks for having me.
You're listening to Daybreak on iFiber One News Radio.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Jeff Slakey, Spencer Hughes on the Daybreak Show. Via Zoom video conference, Gerry Apple is here with me. Hey, Gerry, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Jeff, and it's always an honor to be talking to you. And I want to say thank you to iFiber. I always want to say KMAS.
Hey, it's still there. It works.
Okay. I just want to thank you for your support of the Relay for Life. You're awesome.
Well, thank you, and it's good to see you. And we've been, you and I and Vicky Gonzalez, Karin Leaf, Dave Hauga, a huge group of folks over the last 10 years or so. We've really, well, even longer than that, maybe.
I think
worked
probably about 20 years. I know that I've been involved with Relay, and I've had the SAG Club when I was advisor for that.
I mean, I remember those days when we would have the relay at the high school and it would be around the track in 24 hours and we had some music and there'd be a lot of fun. And, this weekend is, for all intents and purposes, the Shelton Relay for Life event. And it's taken on a whole new look since COVID. We've had not as many chances to get out front of the public to talk about this. There was the car parade a few months ago as this kind of began. But this weekend is the culmination and the remembrance and the honoring of the folks who have not only lost their lives to the battles of cancer, and it's, of course, it goes men, women, young, old, animals, everybody can be impacted by this. And the way we're doing it this year is certainly different. So let's explain it a little bit more for what's happening this weekend.
Sure. So the event is going to be from 12 to 3.
Okay.
And it's going to start out at the courthouse in downtown Shelton. I believe that's on 4th Street.
Yeah, around there somewhere.
Yeah. And what we're going to do is we encourage people to be in the parade. We want to have a big parade.
Sure.
And we would encourage them to be there no later than 11:30 so we can line up, make sure that everybody's decorated, make sure we have balloons and all those things on the cars and trucks. And then when we get back, I think probably the parade is going to last at least, I would say 45 minutes.
Sure.
We're going to go through lots of different parts of Shelton, all the way up to Hillcrest and all the way through town and out to Christmas Village and up towards the high school. And And then when we come back, we're going to do a luminary service. And I'm not quite sure how that's going to work, but I know that you can still buy the luminary bags. And I would strongly encourage, I just talked to my wife because she doesn't like surprises.
Uh-oh.
She says, Gerry, if something is important, you need to tell me way ahead of time. So I talked to her yesterday and said, could you get me lots of cans of food? Do we have a lot of cans of food that we can spare? She said, you bet. So she's working on that.
Great.
And we would like to have you bring those cans of food on Saturday. By the way, you can bring those also now if you would like, everybody. We have one of the ladies on our committee, her husband is the manager of the liquor store.
Oh, okay.
Downtown.
Yeah.
And you can bring those cans of food to there, or bring them on Saturday. And also, you can go on to the Shelton Relay for Life website, and you can print out your a luminary form and put down the names of the people that you want to honor. And one of the things I want to add to what you said, Jeff, not only are we honoring people that have passed away, but people that are fighting cancer at the moment. And we want to encourage them to continue to do well or fight the battle.
You know, Gerry, when we talk about this and it impacting everybody, I think these days, most everybody knows somebody who has been impacted by cancer. And now, as we are witnessing, the first woman to lie in repose in Congress or in Washington, D.C., as Ruth Bader Ginsburg, of course, just recently lost her ongoing battle to cancer. Just another reminder that it affects everybody. It does not matter your station in life, where you are in your employment. It does not discriminate. This does not discriminate. The Luminaria ceremony is always a powerful one. Normally, we have it in the evening, as you can see the bags lit around Neyland Park.
What a beautiful sight.
It really is, and I understand that since this is going to be in the middle of the day on Saturday, we may not see the lights shine through, but the bags with the personalized messages, as they're spaced around the courthouse area, it's really going to be an impactful scene for folks. And this is definitely to put on a different tinge in the way that we're presenting this to the community this year, but the need is no less great. And unfortunately, we haven't been able to get out in front of this as best as we had wanted to with as many, you guys have over the years, you have garage sales and bake sales and pizza drives and all sorts of things, but they all kind of center around gathering. And because we can't really do that, and we've had to come up with some pretty unique ways to spread the word. The first parade a couple months back, this parade on Saturday as well. So noon to 3, start gathering at the courthouse at 11:30. The parade, likely a similar type of route, so people in those areas will see cars and honking, and it's a great thing to get out and wave as well. And then everybody's encouraged to come down to the courthouse with your social distance, your mask, and all that stuff to be safe, but really put a celebration to this Relay for Life. And I'm hoping, Gerry, next year, as you and I were talking before we began, we're back at Neyland Park, hopefully in the upcoming years, and we'll be able to kick this thing off again bigger and better than ever.
And one of the things too, Jeff, we can honor the survivors. We'll hopefully next year we can have a survivor dinner, maybe out at the Skookum Tribal Center.
Sure.
They have a beautiful area out there. Out to Squaxin. Out at the Squaxin Island.
They do too as well. Yeah, lots of great options.
And love to have a dinner for them, and then have the survivor lap. And
just to get back to kind of what we're familiar with when it comes to this, to the different parts of Relay for Life. So
And I lost, and I should mention this, I lost my best buddy 2 months ago, my greyhound. He would sleep on the bed. He was the sweetest thing. He would go for 3 walks a day, along with my other greyhound, who refuses to come upstairs. I don't know why, but they're just like people.
Yeah,
it's so sad when you lose them, and a lot of them die from bone cancer. And one of the things, I see a commercial on TV, St. Jude's.
Yes.
Wow, what a powerful organization.
Yeah.
And they do so much for families, and they take a lot of the pressure off the families. And the sad statistic is 1 out of 5 of those children unfortunately pass away from cancer, leukemia. But St. Jude's is doing so much. I just really honor that group.
It really is quite remarkable what they've been able to accomplish. But as you mentioned, the work is not done, and that's where these relays come about to help raise funds for that very important scientific research to help hopefully eventually one day find a cure for this. Gerry Apple, it's always great to see you and talk with you just in general, but I know you're so passionate about this topic, and it's great to see you via Zoom and then hear your voice as well. The Shelton's Relay for Life is Saturday. It's from noon to 3. Come on down to the courthouse, get things ready to go. Have your masks, be distant. There will, of course, be all those precautions.
Can I give a shout out to my buddy?
Please.
Vicky, if you're hearing this, we appreciate you. I know you said that you were going to be the chairperson this year, but I think you turned around and said you'd help co-chair. And so I appreciate you. And this is one of the reasons why I'm on the committee. I've been on it for about 20 years, and what a passionate group.
Yeah, it's really talking with all you guys as we kind of build over the year and set up the schedules and things. It's really known. I mean, you can really tell when we talk. So yeah, good on Vicky as well. Gerry, good to see you, and have a good weekend this upcoming weekend. We're thinking about you, and we'll check in down the road.
Thanks, Jeff, and have a good day.
From the iFiber One News Radio studios, you're listening to Daybreak.
Well, good morning once again on this Thursday, the 24th of September, and amazing how as we move into fall, good morning, Spencer.
Hey, good morning to you.
The weather just seems to completely change very fast. The rain has come in. It was brisk this morning on my early morning walk with Winston. And then, too, because we start getting emails like this next one from Kitsap County. It's on our website as well. And it talks about the rainy season here and ways to help prevent storm drains from clogging and things like that. Is that an issue out there in your neck of the woods on the loop?
No, I don't see too many. I don't know where the drainage. I don't see a whole lot of that. No, I don't ever see any flooding and stuff. But in town, we've seen it. Both of us have, even by the radio station. If those drains don't stay clear, they'll plug up pretty quickly.
Yeah, with all the dry weather we've had, and as the calendar turns and the leaves drop, they find themselves blocking those drains, and that is a huge impact. I'm sure we could get with Public Works for the city of Shelton, and they could fully explain what happens when these drains get clogged and all the impacts after that. But fall is here, and heavy rains and winds and stuff like that. So this is now a perfect recipe for clogging storm drains. And this is something to think about, being a good neighbor in not only your community but in your neighborhood. If you're on a walk and you see a drain that's clogged, what takes 2 seconds to kind of kick the stuff away with your feet, and hope that water starts flowing.
Yeah, absolutely. You're right. It just takes a few seconds, and it could help avert disaster. So try to monitor storm drains in your area, even just if you're going on a walk or getting somewhere. and try to do it yourself, either with if you don't want to do it with your feet, some type of object or even a stick that's nearby to clear the drain. And if that doesn't help, you can report the blockage to your community, to the city. I would imagine, is that public? I don't want to give out the wrong number here, but this came from Kitsap County.
That'd be Public Works.
Yeah.
I just call Public Works and let them know.
Yeah, and never remove a storm drain lid. Don't get too ahead of yourself or attempt to clean a drain located in a busy street. That could make things worse. Don't wade into water when you're unsure of the depth.
Back on that storm drain lid, you want to watch out, too, for any errant clowns that may be.
You read my mind. I was going to see which one of us made the it joke first. I was going to say I was wearing my yellow rain slicker and making my paper boat.
Check your own personal gutters and downspouts. Fortunately, where our house is, there's no trees around it to get needles and things on our roof and into the gutters. But all throughout most of Western Washington, that happens, and these can get clogged up too. And so I didn't have needles clogging my downspout, but last year I was up on the roof kind of doing some maintenance and monitoring, and I noticed one of the shingles or one of the roof tiles had come off and slid into the gutter and floated its way down to cover the hole. And the whole length of the house, this thing's probably 50 feet if it's 20, and it was filled to the brim with water. And that could have structurally brought everything down. So it's something to think about there.
Yeah, absolutely. And the disposal of leaves, too. You can dispose of leaves by turning them into compost for your garden. That's a great idea. Putting them in curbside yard waste bins or taking them to local composting facilities. If you use a landscaping company, ask the landscaper to take the leaves with them. Do not blow or sweep leaves into the road, ditches, or storm drain, or onto your neighbor's property. They probably won't like that either, right?
No, they would not. Some good tips here as the weather has turned and we are into fall. And good morning to you. The Daybreak Show continues here on iFiber One.
Thank you so much for listening to today's Daybreak with Jeff Slakey podcast. Again, I'm so happy and honored you found us and chose to listen. Please subscribe, rate, review, and share this with your circle of influence. It's a collection of some of the interviews, news, and conversation during Daybreak with Jeff Slakey on iFiber One News Radio KMAS, weekdays from 6 to 9. Thank you so much again, and talk with you next time.